So today we're looking at Supplier Spotlight, and today I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to use the travel agent portal for Ndota Travel when it is that you are doing your reservation. So that's what we're looking at today. I'm gonna also look at the different updates that we have on our dashboard. So I'm gonna just share my screen and I'm gonna go ahead and go through. As usual, at any point in time that you have a question, just open the mic, go ahead and ask, because when I'm looking at the screen, I'm not necessarily seeing if you're typing in the chat or if you have raised your hand. All right, so I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna be sharing my screen. And for the first thing that I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna look at the updates that were made on the dashboard, and then we're going to get into the supplier access. All right, welcome to our dashboard. So you should have access to this portal, and this is where all your resources and all the information will be held. One moment. Okay, all right. This is where all the information for your training, for meetings, for webinars, this is where all the details will be held. All right, so one major update that I want to share with you is our agent course. Of course, we have created our referral program. So before I get into the courses, just to give you a bit of detail. So for the referral program, once you refer someone that you think would be a good fit for Ndota host, they will get a $20 discount. And just to let you know, the program that they sign up with, it has to be an annual program. Once they get a $20 discount, you will get either $20 off your next membership if you are on monthly, and if it is that you're on annually, you'll get $20 cash back, right, to the account that you have on file with us. So if you know anybody that's a good fit, this would be a perfect way to earn additional with your membership with Ndota host. All right, so the next update that I want to share with you is the agent training courses. Now we're adding a series of courses, different topics. And if you have a specific topic that you want some assistance with, then this is the perfect time to throw that in so we can have that created. The next major course that we're adding to our course portal is cruises, just understanding cruises, how to book cruises. So that's going to be roughly 8 different modules with quite a few lessons for you to go through so you can get a better understanding of how to navigate the cruise space. Now, once you are here, you can browse all the different courses that are here. Remember that you have to complete each lesson before you unlock the next lesson. So for example, these are the courses that have already been built. You'll see the different options. So once you click on get started, you'll enroll in each course, and you pretty much will see what it is that you will learn, what about the course, what you'll learn. For you to move on to the next level, you have to complete each because it's locked until you have completed each level. So there are several courses that you are able to complete: booking, finding clients, finding and winning clients, building your travel agency business, understanding different niche, right? Once you get to that particular course, you will see the different niche, marketing and delivering. And this is just some of the courses that we have created so far. This is in progress, and this will always be in progress. So as we progress, you'll have multiple courses that you can choose from, and we're putting together all the different areas, all the questions that you have, all the things that you need clarification. We're creating courses for them. So outside of our usual live sessions, you will have the opportunity to do courses and self-learn. Also, we do have several videos on our YouTube channel, and we're creating these videos, how to book hotels. There are tutorials that are going to also be added. We have already created a full tutorial on how to use Expedia Tap, and this is just the hotel portion. The next portion that we're uploading is how to book flights. We're going to do how to book multi-city flights, meaning if your client wants to go to Thailand and Vietnam, or Dubai and the Maldives, or Panama and Costa Rica, or Brazil and Chile, wherever, right? So we're doing the next lesson in our Expedia Tap is understanding how to book multi-city flights, because that's something that you can also do. We're going to also upload videos on how to use the different cruise platforms, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, how to book your clients, how to create a group. So all of those things. So just keep checking on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you're a subscriber so that you would get the updates as they come. We're creating different type of video demonstration, because I know sometimes it's just easier for you to just have the video and you can keep watching it, and we are committed to recording each of these sessions going forward so that we can have them here for you to review. But one thing I'm gonna say, ladies, that it requires consistency. It requires showing up. It requires putting in that effort. The moment you start being consistent is when you start seeing the difference in what it is that you are doing. You know, whether it is that, even if it is that you're doing this part-time, you can earn substantial income just doing this part-time. So it doesn't matter if you say, oh, I'm just doing it part-time. It doesn't matter. Still put the level of consistency in. Keep showing up. Keep updating yourself, updating your skill set. We're getting another supplier, which is going to be our next supplier review, which has a complete academy, right? So for destinations that you haven't been, and also we're going to do some destination module training. So for example, you know, you want to book your client for Thailand, you're going to have a destination modules, so you can go through, see the different parts of Thailand, when it's best time to book the different tours and activities. All of these are being worked on, and within next week we're going to have a full set of different type of courses. And remember, if at any point in time you think there's something that can be added to our database or a video that needs to be created, feel free to share, feel free to ask for its inclusion. If you are seeing a particular supplier that we do not have and you want to have a relationship with that supplier, either you can reach out to us, and let us add it. All right, so this is it for now on the major updates on the portal. If hold on, let me see if there's somebody joining. 1 second. Yes. All right, Yolanda, let me just quickly give you a brief just probably 2-minute review of what we just did. So what we've done so far, I was just updating the other ladies, the agent training courses that we now have. We'll also share the referral program. If you know someone that's a good fit for us, they get $20 off, you get $20 cash back or towards your next membership. So this is something that's there for you to earn whilst referring somebody to a wonderful host agency. All right, what I wanted to share, the most important part of what I wanted to share is that we now have a training module, and I'm just going to quickly go through it before I get into showcasing the supplier access. Now, this is our host agents training. Outside of the webinars that we will do, you can start self-learning. And this, we're currently working on so many different modules. We're working on destination module. So for example, you're looking to sell a destination you have never been. We're working on creating those destination module so that you can learn on your own time. So we have 7 courses already. Each course has different modules, different lessons. You have to unlock. So for example, you are on finding clients, you have to unlock each module before you can move on to the next. All right, so you finding clients, your complete lead generation, where we have one in the pipeline for how to get started with email marketing, free resources that you can use, right? Also, outside of this, I also went ahead and went through or YouTube videos, 10 free tools every new travel agent needs, right? These are videos that we're constantly doing so that, you know, you can self-learn. And the last point I'm going to make before I get into the supplier spotlight, which is what we're going to do today, the last point I'm going to make is that everything that you're doing now requires consistency, right? You have to turn up every day, even when it feels like, oh, Jesus, I can't, right? That's the only way that you're going to move past where you are and start earning. So just make sure that you turn up every single day, even if it is that you're doing it part-time. It does require turning up. Our next supplier, last point before we get into Ndota Travel, our next supplier has a complete academy. It's actually one of my favorites, and as I had mentioned, I've been trying to get access to this supplier since last year. I do have access, but I wasn't able to add my agents. So now that I'm able to add my agents, I'm very excited about that. That's being worked on, and that's going to be our next review session. And the supplier is also going to do a lesson starting in July. Every month, I'm going to invite a particular supplier to present to us, right? So Expedia has been there for a while. We have just not been able to cement a time. So we're going to do Expedia, we're going to do TBO, we're going to speak to Royal Caribbean, we're going to do all of them. So every month we have a invited guest. And also the last thing, every month I want to have like an agent afterwards Q&A. So we're going to have one for Thursday. It might not be this Thursday, it's going to be next Thursday, right? Where you just come and we just talk, right? Let me see how I can insert myself into what you're already doing. And I'm motivated by people who are consistent, right? So if at any point when you share things with me, I'm always just so happy, you know, I'm happy to see the effort. So the more effort you put, the more I am here for you to help you reach your goals. All right, so now that we have looked at that, yes, go ahead.
Alright.
Yes.
Deidre, hi. How are you?
Hi, Deidre.
Just a quick question. The courses, are they free?
Yes.
All right, because I was just following along with you, and I was trying to open them, like, you know, the first one that says welcome and orientation, all of that. I realized when I open, I don't see anything. There.
Okay.
I just see the headings, but there's nothing there. So I was just wondering if I have access or.
Probably I have to go back in the dashboard and add the access. So thanks for pointing that out, because from the back end, it is there, but I may have to add the access because this all of the information is behind a wall so that regular persons cannot see. So maybe it's still where you are behind that wall as well. So now I have to bring it over so that you as the agent can access. So right after this meeting, I'll just go ahead and ensure that everybody has access. Thank you for pointing that out, and I'll update the access.
Right, thanks.
All right, you're welcome. All right, yes, I'll update the access after this, and in your own time, you can go ahead and review these courses. And just a last point, I think I've said last point about 5 times, but okay. Remember, if there's something that is missing from either my delivery in terms of the sessions that we have, or weekly sessions or weekly training sessions, if you're feeling a little bit confused about something, whilst I'm not going to be able to do a one-on-one training with you, I'm going to build it in our training program, right? So if you say, all right, Carol, I'm a little bit confused about this, I don't know, like for example, Deidre, I'm going to use you as an example. You mentioned cruise and you want to book a cruise for your family. That is built into one of the training program, I believe, coming up on Tuesday. Sorry, not Tuesday, on Friday. So just a point just to say that I understand that the industry is new to a lot of persons, and I am very open to just listening to feedback. If there's something you're having an issue, I'm open to listening to feedback. I don't feel feedback is criticism. I feel it's a way for me to grow, for the agency, the host agency to grow, and for you to grow. So feel free to share your opinions. I'm actually looking for that kind of feedback so that I can tweak and put things out there. Because as you can see, that we're adding things on as we go along, right? So we're adding things on the agency training portal. It wasn't there a couple weeks ago. It's something that we have been working on behind the scenes, and finally at the point where we can launch it. Or destination modules, very excited about that. So all those destinations that you have not been, or fam trips coming up, I am very, very, very excited about that. Or group cruise for next year. So these are things that we're continually putting out there. We're going to start having or meet up or in-person training sessions, right? We're training on a cruise, we're training at a hotel, right? So we're going to start do these things to encourage community, to inspire you. I mean, you work in travel, it should be as exciting. All right, let's move on now to, and I remember, ladies, if you have a comment, just feel free to stop. Once I hear you start talking, I am going to pause. All right, so today what I want to introduce you to is Ndota Travel, and I want you to start getting a feel of the platform. I have not launched it completely out to the public because as with technology, there are things that might be a little bit off, might be having a little bit of difficulty. So whatever difficulty you're experiencing, I just want you to communicate so that I can have the developers fix it, right? Because we know it's technology, and we know things can be a little bit off. Now with Ndota Travel, right? Somebody had asked a question in one of the sessions. So we don't have a website that you should have like forward facing to your clients, right? And it's not something that we recommend, right? I do recommend having your own website, having your own presence, because you're not building your host agency's business, you're building your business. So I don't recommend that you have your host agency platform in the link in bio. However, if at some point in time, when we go live to the public, at some point in time, when we officially go live to the public, if at some point in time you have a client who prefers to self-book, you can send them this link for them to go ahead and book. Now, if they go ahead and book on this platform, you can still claim the commission. As long as you have the person's name and the date that they book. Once we have received that reservation, you will still be eligible for the commission for that reservation, right? It's not officially live to the public. I want us to start using it first for me to feel much more comfortable with putting it out there. But it is out there, but it's not. We have not done an official launch. Now, with Ndota Travel, anything that you sell on this platform becomes commissionable. So at the moment, we have packages, for example, to Zanzibar. And I'm going to be sending an email with each commissionable item. So for example, our Zanzibar package, right? Our Zanzibar package on the website, on your portal, it will be $1,499 per guest. If you go ahead and decide that, you know what, let me sell Zanzibar, because Zanzibar would be a nice destination to sell, especially if you have persons celebrating milestone birthdays, 30, 40, 50, going up 60. Those persons will book a Zanzibar package. Zanzibar is not the cheapest destination I've been to, right? So, persons usually have to budget a lot for a Zanzibar package, because at this moment, this is not inclusive of flights. This is just your tours and your hotel and photographs. So you can always look and see what it entails. And we're adding additional packages to Bali, to Thailand, to Dubai. We're adding different packages there. So at any point in time, we're adding also multi-destination packages. At any point in time, you go here and you say, all right, let me put this out there for my clients. You can go ahead and sell any package, and it becomes commissionable. Once you sell a package, you don't have to worry about the execution of the package. We'll take care of that, but you will get a commission from whatever it is that you sell. And we are going to have a training that looks at those exotic destinations. So it won't be a training where everybody comes. If it's not in your niche, you don't have to come. But if you're interested in selling, because next year I do believe on our trip schedule we do have a Thailand fam trip, and I want to start doing those exotic destinations, because I never had the experience of doing any sort of fam trip in those regions in my travel agency days. It just was not offered, right? So I want to do a little bit different for us. I do have several partners in Africa, in Indonesia. I want to tap into their space and say, hey, I'm bringing a bunch of travel agents, as the best that you can do, and so we can visit those destinations at a lower cost. Because I'm going to tell you, the more you travel, the easier it is for you to sell. Right now, I'm doing a client's Japan itinerary. I've never been to Japan, and it's a struggle. And it's not that I could not just research and find information, but it takes a little bit more effort to build a very detailed itinerary, because she doesn't just want to go to Tokyo, right? She wants to go to Kyoto, she wants to go to Osaka. And the personal nature of these things require, not that I'm saying you're going to go to 197 countries, right? I mean, I guess it's some person's wish, but you don't have to go to 197 countries to sell. But wherever you go, wherever you travel, will always be your strongest selling point. All right, so this is the client facing portal, right? Where you would need to go to sign in would be the travel agent section. So if you don't have an account, once you click on the travel agent, and there's a video on the YouTube that actually walks you through how to sign up. Signing up is a little bit technical, especially when it comes onto the password. You have to have 2 capital letters, you have to have a certain number of characters, and of course, we work with a lot of unscrupulous actors within the industry, and when anything is on the internet, it can be breached and can cause quite an issue. So that's why signing up requires a little bit more. If you don't have an account, once you click signing up, this is where you go ahead and select your agency registration. Now, when you select your agency registration, when you reach down to branch, you will select Ndota Host Independent Agents, right? So this is the category that you will fall under. Each level that you see here, they will have a different commission structure. So you want to ensure that you select the correct branch, right? You add the information as is required here. And once we get your registration, your account will be activated in 48 hours. If you have registered and your account is not activated, after this meeting, I'll be checking on all to ensure that your account is activated. Now, once it is that you have the information here, you're going to go ahead and sign up. So I'm going to pause just for a moment. All right, so this is where I'm at. All right, so this is your dashboard. All right, so let me just give you a quick tour of the entire space before we get into the search. Now, the agent portal works on a wallet system. Before you're able to do any sort of reservation, you have to top up your wallet. How your wallet is topped up is through us. So you will have to make the specific deposit. Once you make the deposit to us, we will top your wallet up. So if it is that you have a client that is interested in making a reservation, you will either submit a request via the portal, or you can go ahead and do the request via the agent support form. Whichever is fine. Once you go ahead and submit that payment, we'll go ahead and top your account up accordingly. Usually it takes within 24 hours to get the account completely topped up. All right, so you can select your currency that you want to be quoted in. Right here in the agency dashboard, there are only these ones that are available. On the main screen, there are different currency options available. This is just the overview of your account. Shows you how much you have available, how much you have left. If you want to edit any specific parts of your profile, you can just go ahead and do this. If you want to go ahead and change your password, you'll go here. Any notifications, say for example there's a notification from the admin section, the information will come here, right? And if you're ready to log out, you just go ahead and log out. So this is the top portion of your agent account. No. Yes, go ahead.
Right. I just want to understand the wallet. Right?
Yes.
What am I upping up? Is it the money to cover? What is that? What does it cover? I don't think I'm clear.
All right, so if, say for example, you have a client that's interested in making a reservation, and you decide that you're making that reservation on Ndota's platform, you won't be able to, as with other platforms where you just go ahead and complete the reservation and enter your credit card information, the agency portal doesn't allow that to happen. So for you to be able to make the reservation, I'm going to walk through a booking and I'm going to show you. But for you to be able to make the reservation, you would have to have the amount in your balance here. In order for you to have this amount in your balance, that is how the wallet system comes up. You can either request through the portal here, or you can request on submit. So that is us. That will be shown to you as we go through more of the portal for you to be a bit clearer.
Okay, understood. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, so just a reminder that this agency portal, it works on a wallet system. So you won't be able to use your credit card here. However, you are able to send us the payment for the reservation via a credit card if it is that you prefer. There are 3 options that will be provided to you for you to send the payment. So the flow would be, client is interested in a reservation. When you start booking frequently and you recognize that you're using this platform, you can always keep a reserve on your account so that you can just go ahead and make the reservation at any point in time without having to do this process. But for example, if you want to wait, you can, client interested in reservation, you quoted the client's ready to go ahead, you can either wait until the client goes ahead and pay you, or you can go ahead and top up your account. The process to top up your account is you would reach out to us either via the support form, or you send a request via this platform, which I'm going to show you shortly. All right, now the dashboard is where you'll see an overview of everything that you have going on. So it's going to show you the dollar value that you have available, how much you have used, if you have bookings confirmed pending, if you have any canceled, and if you have any messages. So that's what the dashboard will show you. Just below here, this actually is a pictorial overview of what you have. Same for here, the flights shows you the stays, if you're sightseeing and booking activity. So once it is that you start booking, this is where you're going to see an overview of what is selling, what is not selling, the areas that are selling. So you can use this dashboard to get a better understanding of what is working for you and what is not working for you, right? So if you have a specific location being booked, it's going to show you on the map, right? It's going to show you to say that, okay, you're booking this area more. So you can either continue promotion for that specific area, or you can say, all right, I want to try a different area. So all the information here will be on your dashboard as you start making reservation. At the end of the sheet, recent booking is as it states, shows the recent booking, the type of service, the date that is booked on, the customer date, the date of travel, what is the status, is it confirmed, is it pending, whatever the status is, the amount that it was sold for, and this is the profit amount if you had added. I would recommend that you add a markup in the platform. You just go ahead and book the client, add the markup outside of whatever it is that you decide to add your markup, and then from there you can just collect from the client. You keep back what you have added as your markup. That is your profit, because remember, this is net rate. Remember, this is net rate. You have to add your own profit. All right. Now, when you go to search bookings, this is where you're going to see the different bookings that have already been made. So, say for example, you've already made a booking and you want to see what is happening, you can go ahead and click on search booking, right? And as the rest of the quick links highlight, these are all the different bookings that were made, whether it was a flight, hotel, a package holiday booking, car booking, transfer booking, sightseeing bookings. Once you click on each of these, you will see what was made and what wasn't, right? So that's where you go for the dashboard. Now, when you're at search, this is where you actually execute whatever search you want in terms of hotel. And we're going to walk through an example. What I like about the travel agent portal is that it has a recent search history. So, for example, flights for stays, I have been doing some searches, so you'll find information here. Flights plus hotel, it shows you your recent searches, packages, tours. If there was a recent search, you will see it here, and it will always show you your latest booking and confirm booking at the end. Now, before we do an example of the search, let us look at the administrative section. Now, say for example, you want to send a credit request. All you would need to do is to go send credit request, and you will add the amount. You can add a remark, and you would select save. Once you send a credit request, the request comes over to the admin panel, and you'll either get an email or you'll use the quick links that are sent to you. So at the end of the session, I'm going to send a general email to everybody with the account details. If you need to top up your wallet, you can use either credit card, you can use Zelle, or you can do wire transfer or ACH transfer. Right? Each of these methods will take a bit of time to reflect, so you have to also bear that in mind, and the times will be shown to you as well. Once it is that you start booking consistently, you can always opt to have a credit on your account. But if you are just starting out, you can wait until you have that client that is ready to go ahead, and then you can send a request. Alternatively, you can either send a credit request via the support desk. So you don't necessarily have to be here to send a credit request. You can send it here, because this is the smoothest, because you're already on the platform. You can send a credit request right away if you have a reservation that you need to cover. Right? Bookings, this is the same search booking field. This is your finance portion, right? It shows you your customer sales summary. It shows you your customer sales, customer profitability. If you have more, for example, same customer keep coming up, you'll see all the details here. So it's kind of like a headquarter for your business operation, right? It shows all those information, right? This is an overview of your wallet, so you'll see what was added from what date to what date, and you can always generate different reports accordingly. To go back to administration, if you have multiple persons booking with you, you can add your own staff, right? You can add your own staff, and you can decide what you give them access to. You can activate and deactivate. So, for example, you have persons working with you, and you want to add them to the platform, you can go ahead and add them here, right? For the sales rule, I don't recommend that you add any markup here, again, because if you do, your rates will become more expensive, so I would recommend that you add any markup here, right? So let me just... Right, so I would recommend you add any. So you just work whatever markup that you add, you will just add it outside of the platform and pay over to what is for the hotel in the platform. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick example of how to use the search feature, and then I'm going to take questions, and that would be it for today. All right, so let's search for stays. Let's do Panama City, the 16th to the 19th. So you add Panama City, check-in, check-out date, select residency. Let's select United States, number of guests. You're going to go ahead and click on search. All right, so you're going to see the different options. So you want to bear in mind that this is net rates, right? And I'm going to show you why they're net rates. Let's look for one that we're familiar with, Rio Plaza. So this is Rio Plaza. What it's saying is $124 per night, total fare $374. Now let's look at what Expedia has it for. All right, so this is Expedia tab, and we're going to search Rio Plaza, Panama. And what date we had July 16th to the 19th, so we're going to search the 16th to the 19th. Click on done. I'm going to go ahead and click search. All right, so just to recap, we have Panama City, client is traveling 16 to 19, 2 guests, total fare $374. All right, so if I click on Rio Plaza, Panama, for the same dates, the 16th to 19th, 2 travelers, the final rate is $461. You would have gotten $41 commission. But if you go back here, if you go back to Ndota's platform, this is $374. And so even if you add the $41 commission that Expedia is offering, it would still be less than the $461 here, right? So this is net rate, and you will add your own markup as listed here, right? And we could do the same for, let's search. All right. So this is how you would search. Let me just follow through with this reservation to show you how you go ahead. So once I have selected the specific hotel, there are specific information here. Shows you nearby landmarks, information that you can help to tell the client what is close by and so forth. Again, it shows you the different room categories. Say, for example, now that I've decided that, okay, I want to go ahead and book this at the $374. Remember, you would have to add your own markup. But what you would request to be added to your wallet is this $374. Now, whatever markup you decide to add to the client, if you want to add $100, if you want to add $20, that's your business. You decide what markup you want to add. Now, we go ahead, click on refundable. It's a refundable rate. We go ahead and we book now. Once we go ahead and book now, what you're going to see is that you don't have sufficient balance for this booking, right? So you would have to add this amount into the platform for you to continue that booking, right? You click I understand terms and conditions, you add the guest details. Once you do all of that, the confirmation is going to come to you and also go to the client if you decide to add the client's information on the booking, right? So remember, just a quick point, remember that this 374 is what is payable for the hotel. If you decide to book, for example, on Expedia, this is what you would end up paying on the travel agent portal, which is 461. How much you decide to add, how much you decide to add as a markup is going to be dependent on you, right? It's the same 3 nights, July 16th to the 19th. See, July 16th to the 19th, 2 travelers. How much you decide to add, if you want to add the same amount to bring it up to what you would have paid on Expedia, that you can go ahead. If we say, for example, we do another, let us try another hotel in Panama. This one is one that I normally book. Novotel Panama City. Same date, July 16th to the 19th. This says $8 per night, 4 days, 3 nights, $240. Let's check this now on Expedia. Novotel. All right, so if I go to Novotel Panama City, all right, July 16th to the 19th, 2 travelers, no extra, this is 280, right? So this is on the travel agent platform, this is $240.42. On Expedia, this is $308. So what you're recognizing, and the commission on Expedia is $24. Now, if you decide that you're going to take the same commission for yourself, which is the $264, you end up quoting the client. But of course, I recommend that you add more commission for yourself, because even if you add $100 on this rate, this is $340, and it is still less. It is still less than what is on Expedia, right? So there are many. The only difference, the main difference with Expedia is that you'll be required to make all full payment on Ndota Travel. But the rates are competitive. The rates are good, especially for the hotels. You have access to packages. You have access to tours, and guys, you have access to car rental, right? You have access to car rental that you